You've been working as a Scrum Master with a team called Avengers for a year now. When you just started with Scrum, using Scrum with a team, all seemed well. You really liked the idea of building small incremental versions of a product. Everyone in the team also loved this idea. But somewhere along the way, something went wrong. You're not too sure when it went wrong or even what's wrong, but you know that something ain't right. If you look at some examples for daily Scrum, people going on and on talking during the daily Scrum more than 15 minutes, and they're talking about their task, not the team's task. Everyone is talking about their individual task and no one is listening to the other person. Everyone is focused on themselves. The sprint retrospective continuous improvement was promised, but if you look at reality, only minor things are talked about. We want better coffee, fix the router, and no one even cares. We talk about all these issues, the same thing over and over again every sprint, but no one is fixing these issues. No one cares about the sprint retrospective because everyone knows that it's not bringing value. So why even go? Why even bother doing it? And don't even get me started about the sprint review, that awkward moment at the end of every sprint review. We're almost done yet. We're almost done. We're not ready to release yet. We will be ready to release the next sprint. And the next sprint, during the sprint review, the same thing happens. Something just cropped up. An urgent requirement, new requirement, we are not ready to release yet. So the team never releases anything. Stakeholders don't even join the sprint review. It's just the product owner. And even the product owner now doesn't care. Doesn't want to do the sprint review. We are not releasing stuff ever. Can you relate to this story, which is from the book Zombie Scrum? And in this video, we're going to talk about what is Zombie Scrum, the symptoms, the causes, the treatment. The book is 300 pages long. I'll try to summarize it in 10 minutes. Also giving my insights on the book. If you want to read the whole thing, highly recommended. The link is in the description. As per the book, this story I just shared is an example of Zombie Scrum. At first sight, it looks like the team is doing Scrum. But if you look closely, you realize that there's no beating heart. The Zombie Scrum teams are doing all the Scrum events, but at the end of a sprint, there's rarely something to release. No working increment to release, and the team really doesn't care about continuous improvement. They are just going with the flow, going with emotion. They are doing all the events of Scrum, but not engaged in the events. There's 4 symptoms to Zombie Scrum. They don't show up all together for a specific team, a Zombie Scrum team, but most of the time the team will experience at some point these symptoms. Symptom number 1. The team has no desire whatsoever to contact the outside world. This is when the team doesn't really care about what's upstream or downstream in the value chain. We are all sitting, each team member sitting behind their screens, doing design stuff, design work, analyzing stuff, writing code, but in their team, in their own little silo. And the product will suffer. The customers will suffer. Value will suffer because we will often be releasing stuff, products, but customers don't want to use. Symptom number 2, no working product. The team is doing all the Scrum events, coding, working together, but at the end of a sprint, no working software, no working increment is available to be released. Stakeholders rarely see what the team has developed, and releases are done months later, or many sprints later, instead of every single sprint, as mentioned in the Scrum Guide. Symptom number 3, no drive to improve. Team morale is low. A successful sprint or a failed sprint, no response from the team. No one cares. No one talks about that in the sprint retrospective. We just go with the flow, with emotion. We just take what's remaining of a sprint backlog and we move it to the next sprint. Because why not? There's always another sprint to finish the work not done. Symptom number 4, no autonomy, no ownership. The team can't decide or doesn't even want to decide what to build, how to build it, who builds it, and by when they build it. Why would you even care about the product if you're not involved into shaping it? Now, let's move to the causes. Cause number 1, we don't value mistakes. Just ask the team, why are we not releasing every single sprint? And you'll hear excuses like, it's too difficult, there's too many people involved, too much risk. People are afraid to make mistakes. They don't see mistakes as a learning opportunity. They see mistakes as something to avoid. And they live in fear. That's why we are not releasing stuff every single sprint. Cause number 2, the Scrum team or the organization don't realize the human factor of work. They either don't see it, or they don't really care about it. There's this assumption here that people will be able to work together. Humans can easily work together. No need for working agreements, no need for team building, no need for coaching or teaching or mentoring on how to collaborate together. No, why waste time? That's not real work. Cause number 3, work and learning, 2 different things. Work actually generates value, while learning only costs time and money. You shouldn't be learning, researching, learning new skills, improving during actual work time. You do that during the weekend, after hours. During work time, you only work and produce real value. Real value. Let's move on to the treatment. Treatment number 1, become a zombie whisperer. Go look for these zombie Scrum teams. I guarantee you that they are not happy. They don't. They have a lot of issues in their team, and most of the team members realize that, but maybe they can't talk and they're just going with emotion. They stopped caring. Talk to them. Just let them talk about their problems. Don't give them solutions. Let them come up with the solutions themselves. It helps talking about Scrum, about Agile, on why, especially why we are trying, why we are doing it, and what we are trying to achieve with Scrum, with Agile. Most of the teams, they are doing all the Scrum events, but they don't know why they are doing it. They don't know what we are trying to achieve with it. Simply telling them, they will come up with the solutions to their own problems. Treatment number 2, introduce them to healthy Scrum teams. It really helps the zombies team members to see people using Scrum in a healthy manner, or Agile in a healthy manner. Seeing people getting all the benefits, the engagement, the high morale, collaborating together, delivering valuable products to customers. It really helps if you see that working healthily, in action, getting all the benefits. It motivates people to do the same thing. If these kinds of teams don't exist in your organization, healthy Scrum teams, go outside, neighbors, other companies. Go visit other companies to see how they work. Treatment number 3, start with the Scrum events. Go look at the Scrum guide. The purpose of a daily Scrum is not to talk about things, give updates, status updates to stakeholders, product owner, Scrum master. No, it's an event for developers, by developers, where the developers will craft a plan for the day to get closer to the sprint goal and show that this session is indeed doing that. People are doing that in this session. The sprint review, we should demo stuff. Stakeholders need to give feedback. The sprint retrospective, dream big. Focus on big improvement items. Talk about things that people are passionate about. The sprint planning, you should be ending every sprint planning with a clear sprint goal. Everyone should work together to meet at the end of a sprint, this sprint goal, which should produce a working increment, something to be released that's valuable to the customer, that will bring impact to the customer. That's extremely important. Small things in all the Scrum events really add up. And that's what Scrum is all about. Which brings me to my next point. If you want more tips, insights on Agile Scrum personal growth, click on the video that stands out the most on the screen right now, and I'll see you in a few seconds.